And so for now, our story continues. The blistering sun stood high in the sky, overseeing the wreckage of Skyreach Castle. Dead cultists, loot, treasure, and smoldering ruins of the flying castle littered the desert earth. Our sojourners recovered from their injuries while planning out their next move. Sadly, the use of the flying castle was no longer in their hands. Bramble's leg throbbed from pain as Garindan snapped it back into place as the unholy scent of sulfur rose into the air. Felthrin made himself busy by collecting food and water from the carnage. "We have to continue on," he decided. A long stretch of arid desert lay before them, and so they waited until nightfall to continue their journey through the desert of Scorna. Underneath a blanket of stars and bright moonlight, they traveled on. Bramble, the henfolk, quickly guessed that they were being followed, and soon enough, Serena from the Dust Circle arrived to greet them. All right. Good to see you, Felthrin, you sorry son of a bee." And she smoked a long black cigar. "We're in the Blackfoot's tribe territory, and rumor is they took down a couple of those devils not a day ago." She quickly vanished into a fox's form in druidic fashion as the sound of hoofbeats arrived in their hearing. The Blackfoot tribe of henfolk, known for their ruthless dealings with travelers, surrounded the party, not on horseback, but raptor. Gagi introduced himself and swore to spill their blood or take them as prisoners. Bramble, doing his best to speak in Blackfoot, having known the dialect for a little time, began to interchange with this scout leader, and together they agreed to visit the tribe and meet Chief Hobie, the father of Gagi. Gagi exclaimed that since they had killed various devils, he would allow them to go unbound. Upon entering the tribe territory, Gagi and Bramble exchanged tattoos as Gagi welcomed him into his family. Between collecting strong incense, sampling scorpion barbacoa, and charming encounter between Bramble and Yalizioa, the sojourners made themselves welcome into this henfolk nomadic tribe, surviving in this dry and harsh desert wild. And so our story continues. You are sitting squat in the low tent of Chief Hobie, leader of the Blackfoot tribe. He struggles to pry open his eyes below the wrinkled and worn skin. In a spirit of reverence, a green coal smolders in the tent, casting shadows behind you upon the hide wall. A voice of a unicorn ekes from the green light, and Hobie's eyes mimic the ghastly glow as he begins to speak to the history of the people within your hearing. As he is echoing these words, you have this strong, sweet smell of mint, sage, earthy, and vegetable-like flavors are erupting into your nose. As you breathe in the vapors, you can feel the power of the henfolk spirits moving throughout your body, giving you a mind's eye vision of their history. So around this campfire, around this green smoldering ember, there are the four of you. Garindan, if you would, for the sake of everyone, describe what we see as you breathe in these vapors inside the chief's tent. And please allow a description of yourself.
So this tall dwarf with a bald head, kind of a pale skin, big gray beard. He's stout though, wearing scale mail. Got a scar coming out of his little neck here. He's thin but stocky, but he's taking in big breaths of this earthy kind of thing inside a tent. It's well lit, but it's still got kind of a nice kind of glow to it. The the chief is sitting there, as you said, kind of gathered around that green coal, just kind of in that glow. It's really um, it's kind of homey, and you can tell that it's been a lot of wisdom has been shared here, a lot of good encounters happened, um, but he's really just kind of he's ready. Garindan's ready to just go out and fight. So he's really not taking in too much of this. He's just seeing this as like the next step to get there. So yeah, that's
And standing next to you is Felthrin. Felthrin, if you would take a moment to describe your reaction to this scene with a couple descriptions of yourself.
So Felthrin is listening to the chief reverently, thinking about his own tribe and the many years of life that he spent with them. When you look at Felthrin, he's a very old looking dwarf, very wiry, strong, and he definitely is. He looks like a fighter. Has a glowing warhammer on his back, and yeah, he's half reverent and listening, and the other half of him is itching to go.
And next to you is Bramble. Bramble in like fashion, if you would proceed.
Bramble is a hinfolk, a halfling, pretty much completely unremarkable. He is wearing studded leather armor and has a shiny new scimitar strapped to his back. But he is he's listening to Hobie, but paying a little bit more attention to the feelings that are coming, the sensations that are coming from the incense around. He's treating this as a new mind-opening experience.
And next to you is Gagi. Gagi has been with you. The fresh tattoo resembles his own, as he has the 4 markings on his forearm. Gagi, as you stand there, your father has proceeded to welcome these people into your community visions as they breathe in the vapors. Not many people have extended this level of friendship. If you'd please describe your reaction and give a couple descriptors so we might see you as you stand next to Bramble.
As Gagi stands there with his dreadlocks falling on his shoulders with a red bandana wrapped around the dreadlocks to keep it tight, he massages a scar on the side of his neck, and he remembers the green smoke of the many wars that he had fought in the past. And it comes with mixed feelings, as this is the first time we allow strangers to come into our abode. And yet, I can't help the sense of hope as I look at these ready warriors, and it reminds me of those that I traveled with during the war.
As you breathe in these vapors, the memory of what you have lost releases from your mouth, and you are compelled to stake your claim in this final fight before not only Chief Hobie, but the spirit of Maliki, who rules the tribes of Blackfoot in the desert. Garindan, what proceeds from your mouth? Chief Hobie looks at you with green embers for eyes and says, "You, young dwarf, what stake do you have in this fight? For only a fight that is worthy must be accomplished. Otherwise, it is madness." The air begins to come forth from your mouth as you deliver this message to your compatriots and all the spirits that are welcome.
I have lost my soul and freedom to choose my own path.
He looks over to Felthrin. "Servant of the old faith, Your life is spent, your years are many. What stake do you have in this fight? If you do not possess anything worthy, you are simply batting at the wind. Tell me. And the air moves from your mouth and speaks to your fellow compatriots.
I am not done yet, good chief, and I will fight for the greater good until there is no longer breath in my lungs.
You hear a strong whinny erupt from the flames, the fire, and the coal begins to burn brighter. You see the vision of a unicorn sprout her horn towards you and begin to laugh in victory. The chief cackles a little bit. Not done yet, indeed. He looks to you, Bramble, and his staff points towards you, pulling the tresses out from your eyes. Your brown curly hair pulled to the side, and he says, young one, though you are like us, you are of the same blood, though you come from the West. Half of you represents what we defend, and the other half represents what we have stood against. What stake do you have in this fight? Speak.
I go to save my sister and to redeem my people and the people of the Heartland.
Heartland of Red Larch. So it is. Hobie has decided. Maliki has decided, as has all the elders, that the Blackfoot tribe will aid you in this quest. For we are at the buttress of this evil. As dragon shadows arrive and devil feet claw, Tiamat is destined to rise. As it has been foretold, the time of the bear is at hand, and the bear will tear forth through the west, starting with our people. You have our allegiance and our help. The green fire goes out. His eyes die down. He looks to his son and says, Gagi!
Aye, Father.
Maliki has decided that you bring these three into our home. Maliki has decided that you will go with them as a emissary of the Blackfoot tribe. You will give them our best, and you will go on this diplomatic mission to ensure that this demon queen, Tiamat, does not rise into our existence.
Yes, Father. Strength and honor.
Do not return unless you return in victory. And may the enemies be plucked, may the eyeballs of our enemies be plucked from their skulls and stuck on your thumbs.
Your will be done.
He leads you out of the tent, and the four of you are now standing. It is very, very late at night. The vapors pass through your body, awakening you, and the nocturnal pride in this community as children begin to run around, consuming a second meal. Women begin gearing up the soldiers and the scouts. The raptors are saddled up. Though the four of you have a very special mission. As somewhere it has been told to you that Lord Volmer awaits in a cave with the rest of the souls. You know that if these souls reach the temple of Tiamat, they will be sacrificed to fuel her arrival. Chief Hobie then motions with silence with his hand, slaps his staff upon the ground. We have 30 scouts strong on their beasts. We will go to the nearby tribes to aid us. Many will be here by tomorrow morning. For all we have, the desert of Scorna is our home. He then hands you, Felthrin, a crude map of the caldera, the dormant volcano, and points to the last known entrance to the Well of Dragons, which you will have by next session. This will aid you, Master Dwarf, in settling into the volcano and planning your way of attack.
Thank you, Chief.
He then pulls a white dragon mask from his pouch. Did somebody drop this?
Go get it, Garindan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A giant must have dropped this.
Gagi, did you find this white dragon mask in the wreckage, as you told me?
I thought of that. I did. It was along with the rest of the things that we found in the battle.
After they slew the devils, they found this and they brought it to me. Is this the dragon mask of Tiamat?
1 of 5, Chief.
You tell me. If we keep it here, it will be a beacon for the cultists to attack. Would you take it? He waits your response.
Felthrin looks at Garindan.
Yes, I will take this burden.
He hands the mask to you. The weight of it is heavy. The eyes begin to glow and your infernal scars and tattoos begin to light up. A strong smell of brimstone erupts from your body. It is powerful in your hands.
I do not know if I should hold this, brothers. It's calling to me.
I will take it, brother. Felthrin goes and grabs it.
You watch for each other. I like to see your camaraderie. He hands you, Garindan, scale mail. Perhaps this shall replace your own. It is made from the skin of a fire salamander, a lizard that walks through the volcanoes. It is like your mail, but resistant to fire damage. Perhaps it shall aid you. Consider it a gift from the Blackfoot tribe.
Thank you, Chief. This will be put to good use. And here, if you have a young warrior in need of a sturdy spear, here, take this. And hand him that D6 spear that I got from the last.
He looks at it, gratefully accepts and says, I need one for myself to catch the rabbits when the young ones don't bring me my supper.
It's good to be the king.
Do you have a question outside of what's going on? What is the distance to where we need to go? And what amount of enemies do we need? Do we need to wait for the support of the 30 guys? Or are we able to sneak upon the enemy when it's in the middle of the night?
What has been conveyed to you is that the 30 scouts will begin going to the various tribes. They will disperse by 4 groups, and by morning they will have amassed not 30, but 30 times 4. The rest of the tribes will then converge and aid in the final showdown. Today, however, you do have a certain mission. Gagi, you are not privy to this, so a natural look of curiosity looks in your eyes as Bramble, Felthrin, and Garindan take the time to explain to you exactly who Lord Volmer is.
So Garindan will pull out the incense that he got from last time, which shows, his location. This is our target. He is a fiend. It is trapped on this plane. I have been commissioned by his boss to take him out. It must be my hands, and my hands alone. He is a wily character. He can charm you. He can be resistant to magic. He is, right now, he is my enemy number one. But I appreciate y'all coming on this fight with me.
Gagi, this mission of stealth and assassination requires you to aid Garindan in the assassination of Lord Volmer, a devil captain in Avernus, who, trapped on this plane, has betrayed his master and has been commissioned, ironically, by this cleric, this dwarven cleric. You also notice something about Garindan, and it's been on your mind as long as you can remember. You killed a couple devils in the desert when they encroached upon your territory. You remember slashing through their skin and their bodies erupting in ash and sulfur. Garindan has a little bit of that smell lingering on him. Not like Felthrin.
I see this is not your first rodeo. I can smell the blood of the devils upon you.
You're on a mission to end that, and that's why I got this smelly stuff. It was supposed to make that go away.
You still smell bad, Garindan.
I don't think it's working.
We're gonna fix that.
Yeliza, Gagi, your sister, walks up to Bramble. She pays you no mind, and she wraps in like these cactus leaves a simple recipe of rations, some scorpion meat. She makes eye contact with you, Bramble, and says, I didn't add any spicy spice this time.
Oh, you're just ever so subtle, aren't you, in your flirting?
Shut it, gang.
That's good. He's a wimp.
Thank you. I know this will do me well.
Careful, Bramble. The last man that did that, she did that for, died. So, hopefully you're stronger than that man.
Hopefully not from the food.
True that.
She gets furiously angry, stomps away, and then takes one last look at Bramble.
Come on, love man, let's go.
Yeah. You begin to walk through the desert. It's not very far that the cave is very close by. Gagi, you've been past this cave many times. Now that you're here, there's a couple things you know about this cave. It is often used by desert yetis to drag their prey back to their lair where they may eat them in peace. But your scouts have told you that a very fiendish, deviling-looking creature and dragon cultists have used it for a hideout and are holed up here until they recover from their losses inflicted by your scouts. You know exactly where they're at. As you're all walking along each other, there is a very beautiful sight you see, Felthrin, as you're walking under this desert sky. Would you please tell me what it is?
So Felthrin, after being in the desert for a little while, getting tired of sand and sand dunes, just the perfect moonlight, and then he starts to see the silhouette of a mountain, presumably where this cave is. Just gets a little taller than the rest of the sand, and he gets super excited because he misses the mountains, he misses the hills, and seeing something that looks a little familiar is really encouraging to him, gets him really excited.
And not only do you see the cave that you are going towards, but you see the mountain stretches and the volcano itself, the Well of Dragons. It is now within your sight. You begin to look at the crude map that Chief Hobie has drawn from you, and it is a simple 5-sided star. No surprisingly, as the number 5 is very indicative of Tiamat, the 5-headed dragon. Bramble, there is a pleasant sound you hear as you're marching through the desert in the company of your friends. What is that?
It is the rhythm of the stride of another halfling. He's been walking with slightly taller folks and with much taller folks for a while, and hearing that steady pace that matches his own is a It's a heartening thing.
Gagi, if you would take that, you too have a very pleasant sense if you would run with that for me.
I notice as we're all walking, we're like interlocking steps, and it's like you want to like Bramble, but then it's still my sister. So I kind of smirk and try to trip him as we're walking. Oh, I didn't. Sorry, Bramble. Didn't see you there.
What? Now listen, Gagi. She started it, okay?
Well, don't let me finish it now.
Buggy,
All
you're a tattooed on his arm.
All
You
seriousness,
claim
Bramble.
property to him?
She's a wild woman. Are you sure you're strong enough to handle her?
I honestly am not.
Just fall all over you and just choke you out.
Honestly, I think she would. I'm in over my head. I might need your help later.
Well, if you're as good looking as you are strong, maybe I like you. Maybe.
He's not very strong.
Indeed, you can see Bramble not very strong, very light on his feet. However, he is by far the most good-looking out of the group. Garindan, you have a very unpleasant sense. If you would take that.
So he's smelling around, but he's smelling himself to make sure it's not him first. But he definitely, as he's getting closer, he's getting closer to that sulfur and that ash, and it's quickening his pace and it's quickening his heart. He's getting ready to cast this big spell that he'd gotten kind of prepped for in the last mission, and just hoping that it works out. So that's the smell. He's getting that sulfur and ash just kind of going through his blood.
And just like that, where there was once 5 of you, as Serena from the Dusk Circle is keeping in pace as a fox, suddenly Hay approaches and is walking next to Felthrin.
Hey,
Felthrin, how are you?
good. Welcome back.
Oh, thanks. I missed you all. Oh, who are you?
Oh, that's Goggy.
Goggy.
Your name is Hay?
Yes.
What you eat, or like, hey, look at that guy.
Yes.
Which one is it?
It's, hey, look at that guy.
That's very creative.
It's not my name. I didn't come up with it.
Well, pleasure.
Everyone else did.
Hey, now, you're part of us. Okay? Yay.
And you see, as Hay is walking in the desert, though it is dry, arid, and dusty, he's leaving behind a footprint of snow that runs for about 50 feet and then disappears. Hay, if you would take a minute to describe your character as you walk next to Gagi and Felthrin.
The first thing perhaps that stands out is he doesn't seem to fit. He has a wide-eyed innocence about him that makes him not feel like he belongs with a battle-hardened group of people trekking across a desert towards certain doom. He's very smiling as he engages with everyone, doesn't seem to notice when perhaps people are tired of his presence or his questions or his comments. But he is enthralled and enchanted to be around everyone. And yeah, it's just obvious that he is like a really big child.
And
Light
he's
brown hair. Yeah, what's that?
And he's the tallest.
Yeah, I think I am.
By quite a bit.
So I see Hay's head kind of bobbing in the silhouette, the fox keeping pace, kind of sniffing around. Serena from the Dusk Circle then assumes her natural form, and she walks up to you, Felthrin. Felthrin. Gagi, we're getting close, aren't we? She pulls past her dreadlocks, pulls it tight, and says, I can smell that devil. Is this the place?
I believe so.
What the map says, Serena.
Say it again.
The map says it is, yes.
All right. I was going to forget something. But here, and she hands out 4 cigars and looks at you, Hay, and says, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were going to be with us. You're just,
No, that's okay. I'm not hungry.
you ain't going to eat them. Don't worry. Felthrin, I'm going to give this one to you. It's got a little bit of electrical kick to it, and you can use it whenever you need it to during your turn, but it's going to cause 48 lightning damage to any time you hit something. Smoke
What's
it.
a 48?
It's a big power punch, I'll tell you that. It'll make the hair stand up on your head.
Oh, I like that.
She hands you the cigar and says you can smoke it as a bonus action. She looks to you, Garindan, and says, to be honest, I wasn't sure what you're going to need. But I'll give you this one. It'll make you vamp in and out of existence really quick. It's a nice tiny cigar. But again, you could smoke it as a bonus action. It's a Misty Step. 30 feet teleportation as a bonus action. She looks to you, Goggy, and says, so, we go way back. Yeah, everything. I got you your favorite one. I don't know if you might need it, but you just tend to get yourself in a bit of a scruffle. I remember last time you almost went down for the count, so I got you a healing one. Again, you could smoke it as a bonus action. And she hands you a 44 plus 4 toke that you may smoke as a bonus action.
I resent that. You say I got into a little bit of a mess.
Well, we had to put your arms back in place. It was rough.
They fell out of place, okay?
Yeah, well, if you ain't gonna use it, give it to somebody else. All right, little one. I was able to read your thoughts a little bit. I thought you might like this. It'll make it feel all funny and transparent, if you know what I mean.
Does it make me invisible?
It's great, your invisibility.
Yes.
So for 1 solid minute, you can do whatever your little henfolk mind wants, and ain't nobody gonna see that. It's gonna be an action to smoke it, though. It takes a while. She begins to chomp down on the black cigar, and yeah, it's tough, I know. All right, I'll let you all take it from here. Let me know if you need anything.
Thank you, Serena. Thanks for the cigar.
All right.
If you guys don't mind, I'll take the lead into this cave.
Well, this
Sure.
I'm gonna cast is gonna take 10 minutes, and it's gonna attack the fiends only in the area. So just, I think I want to cast this before we head in there, just to make sure.
What you see is a cave, an entrance on a mountainside. There is a single scout, a dragon cultist that is keeping watch, although he is not aware of your presence as of now. Now is the time to ask me any questions you would like out. A dragon cultist that is keeping watch, although he is not aware of your presence as of now. Now is the time to ask me any questions you would like before proceeding with your actions. Hey, since you are the daftest among them, I'll let you go first. What are the questions you might have about this scene?
Which way is the scout looking? In our direction or away from us?
Away from you, something. It appears as if they're not really paying attention. They have a low perception that they're not looking around. Maybe nodding off every once in a while, but not doing a great job. Maybe even appearing wounded.
And the distance?
We're going to say you're about, right now, safely 100 feet away before you proceed.
And it is obvious that this is a cultist.
They are dressed in the royal and religious regalia of the cult of Tiamat.
Watch this. Is it
Okay.
too early to act?
Well, I like, yeah, let's get everyone's questions in, and then we'll do the actions. So Gagi, you have some questions about this scene.
Yes, how far away is this guy from us?
We're gonna say 100 feet safely that you're out of sight.
And as far as cardinal direction, I didn't catch what Hay said, but which way is he facing, and then which way? We are obviously facing the mouth of the cave, correct? And then he's 100 feet on top of the mouth, left, right, in front.
He's right in front of the mouth of the cave, as if he's just simply guarding, trying to keep a lookout. But he looks pretty wounded. Something's wrong with him. He's not really paying attention, kind of staring off.
Oh, very well. That answers my question.
Okay. Bramble, you have a question about this scene?
Taking a quick survey of what's around, is there any approach that could get us within maybe 30 feet of him without being seen?
I will let you make an investigation check, as it's going to be a little difficult to assess. 18. So you see where a Yeti has dug in a burrow leading into an unguarded entrance on the side. And it is possible to get within 30 feet of him without him noticing you if you could manipulate the tumbleweeds that are dancing across the desert floor. The old Bugs Bunny trick.
Yeah.
Felthrin, you have some questions about this scene before we get to Garindan.
So, is there a significant amount of light coming out from behind him at the cave entrance?
Good question. There's actually a little bit of campfire light that is dancing off the shadows. You can almost see shadows moving in as people are moving around, and you can hear a sound of chanting.
And is there a light coming out from the space that Bramble saw?
No.
Okay, is there a light coming out from anywhere else in the mountain side?
No.
Like maybe
No.
another entrance that we can notice?
Nope.
Okay.
Garindan, you're last to perceive anything before proceeding.
So as Garindan's looking into the incense, can he see anything else around? Like any other people? Because he knows that he can see Valmer in it. Can he see any of the guards or the where the are, cultists are, anything like that?
I'll let you make a perception check as you stare into your vial of incense.
16, that's 29.
Good gosh. Can you hear with this incense as well?
Yeah.
I think you can hear. Okay, so here's what you have this like little sage bush of incense as it's burning up. You can see Volmer's face, and you zoom into his face, and his skeletal skin is stretching across his patchy beard, his hollow-looking eyes, his long, thick eyebrows, and his bald head. He's sitting there and coughing. Listen. Well, we must leave as soon as possible. Everyone must stop praying. I don't care. We are not waiting for Tiamat. Not now. We have got to go to her. So I need you to help me convince the others. I will convince them, Lord Volmer. Your small woman's voice. I will do your will, whatever it takes. You are my lord and my liege, and I will not leave your side. That's a good info. Now listen. We'll leave as soon as possible. Tell the scout to come inside. How do you proceed?
Hey, Bramble. What did you say your sister looked like again?
About like me, same color hair. She usually likes to wear greens and browns. I don't know how much her mind has been affected by this spell, though.
It resembles, without the greens and browns, just.
So I think I just heard her talking with Volmer, and they're planning on getting out of there. So we need to move quick and make sure she's not She's on our side. It's not just the gaze.
Has their back turned to us?
The scout,
Yes.
uh, yes,
And how far is the other guy from the scout? Is he within 5-10 feet?
can't see. Not
Can't.
in the cave, yeah. Until the party tells me they're moving from an unsafe position, this is as much as you can see.
I'd like to take the dash action if I ask the group, here's my plan. I'm going to stab the wounded guy right in the back, and then I'm going to knock out the other guy with, what do they call it? The monk has here. Sorry, guys.
Stunning strike.
Yeah, that's it. Man, I'm losing my train of thought. And then do a stunning strike on the other guy.
As we start to move forward, Felthrin is going to turn into a dire wolf.
Garindan, after he's looking at the incense, has got to be almost done with his spell. If it's been 10 minutes.
It has been 10 minutes and then some.
Okay, so what he's done is he's taken holy water, sprinkled it in a safe location, taken that incense, put it down, and poured a powdered ruby on top of it, and it's just lit a flare. And then for that 40,000 square feet, nothing can transfer between realms, and the fiends are the ones that get damaged on their first turn. So first time on their turn.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. So does this take effect now?
So it's taken effect now, but it says when a chosen creature enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts
Okay.
its turn there, the creature
Okay.
takes 5d10 radiant damage.
Okay, nice. As soon as you do that, you hear a voice in your head. Garindan, is that you? I smell your skinny little butt coming closer. Who sent you?
You know that your time is up.
All right, Gagi, if you would make your move.
Shit, I just dropped my die.
Drop the die. Drop the die.
That is a natural 20 on that.
Easy enough. All right, so how do you take out this cultist?
I'm going to take my short sword and jab it right in his neck. I'm going to do an acrobatic roll over him and stunning strike the other guy in the back of the head.
Other guy?
I thought you said there were two people there.
There was one who, sure, Garindan witnessed two people through his spying spell.
Okay.
Yeah, so you just see this one guy. You can hold your stunning strike for a second. You've effectively cleared this out. But what you do see at that moment, as this time is ticking, there is a hinfolk coming to the front door, and she is kind of moving your direction.
Which way? Coming from the tunnel or outside the tunnel, inside? Outside the tunnel or inside the tunnel?
All right, I will show you. So far, Gagi has indicated to me he is entering the cave. Felthrin, you are a dire wolf. You are entering the cave. Bramble?
He'll stay back. He'll try to be able to see everything. So in a position where he can see everything.
Okay.
But not right at the front line.
Okay. Hey, how are you proceeding?
As everyone starts stepping forward, Hay kind of shrugs and begins walking. He's going to try and stay close, but take up the rear. And as he goes in to the cave entrance, is that where everyone else is headed?
Yeah, there is one cave entrance.
Yeah.
Bramble and Felthrin are the only ones that saw the other alternate entrance.
Sure. He's following the group. And what is the composition of the stone of the cave? Is it limestone, perhaps?
I would say it's limestone.
Excellent.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. So
You got enough?
say again.
You got enough, or you want to keep going?
As he follows behind, he's just going to take his dagger and scrape a little bit of lime into his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And he reaches into a pouch and pulls out a couple other things.
All right. Everyone roll initiative, please.
$23.
Awesome. Gagi got a 23. Hey, got a 21. Garindan a 17.
Bramble bringing up the rear again.
I know. What's up, Bramble? You dragging
It's
your
just
feet?
Hey, I'm gonna
reverse order.
probably gonna use that that skill to switch initiatives.
Ooh, okay.
Because Garindan's his bloodlust is up, so he wants to go first. So
Okay.
he's gonna switch his for the 23 from Gagi.
Wow.
I'm gonna give mine to Brandon, and I'm gonna put Hay last.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
What just happened?
Yeah, exactly.
He said, no, that's not what you rolled. This is
Yeah.
what I wanted you to roll.
Okay, so if you would, so this is what happens. Like everyone moving closer. Gagi, you stab him in the back. Bramble taking up the rear. The dire wolf approaching. Hay just casually scraping his dagger across the limestone. And then these flames begin to erupt at Garindan's feet. The smell of sulfur is noxious. His eyes begin to light up with this dark, glowing ember, and he begins to speak in Infernal. His weapon drawn, his hands at the side glowing red, and he just steps forward like a leader. He pushes his way to the side, and he is now stepping forward in front of the line. He begins to issue out these infernal commands, sending shivers down your spine. You are compelled to follow him as your leader. Garindan, you are first in the initiative, and you can see everything on the map. You do see the woman, the Hinfolk woman who is speaking to you. If you can see my little drawing right there, her name is Foxglove, and she is approaching very quickly, and she seems very surprised to see a Blackfoot halfling stabbing the cultist, and you stepping forward in hellish fashion.
So Garindan in his full mode is he's gonna let me see if I can do that. I can't do that. Crud.
Tell me what you want. Tell me what you're doing.
Well, I want to free her from the spell and get her behind us, if I can.
Okay.
But I've
You
used
can
the-
see, yeah, you can see clearly she is charmed. You know the effects Lord Volmer has on people. How are you going to do this?
Well, I've already used up my spell slots, so I can't use Greater Restoration. Shoot. What could I do? What would
If-
work?
Garindan, you have your action. How are you going to do this? You see her. She seems surprised. Something has definitely happened to you. For Felthrin Bramble, y'all have never seen Garindan act like this. His tattoos are just glowing with hellish fire. For a minute, she almost sees you out of respect and reverence, the same way the devil dragons gave you in the town of Parnast.
Sorry, 1 second. So you said like the dragon cultists of Parnas?
Just the way they respected you when you showed them your infernal tattoos.
So the same
She
thing.
almost seems to respect you for a minute, although she is surprisingly staring at Gagi, who has just slain the cultist. So it looks, she's set back a little bit.
So I'm gonna kind of appeal to her and like, hey, a higher authority is here. Get behind. See if I can do that to her.
I'll let you do a persuasion check or an intimidation check.
A persuasion. Oh, darn. No, I got 12.
12.
Yeah.
She turns and runs.
Okay.
She stops for a minute. She doesn't bother to pull any weapons. She just turns tails and begins running away.
Okay.
Dash.
Yeah, where is she on the map? I can't quite see with the current, like, which is the entrance.
Right there?
Is it?
Yep.
It's connected to me, I think.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Who's Oni? Bramble, Dalton. Do you mean send you the link again? Sorry about that, bud.
I've got the link. It's cutting in and out of that one. There we go.
Well, she's running away, but you have a bonus action if you want to do it.
Okay, there we go. All right,
Mhm.
let's do that. Yeah, I wanna run after her. I wanna try and get her out of there.
Okay.
Yeah, even because like I know it's about to go down, and I don't want to get caught in the crossfire.
Okay. Garindan, you run and you chase after her, and she is currently your quarry. She is in pursuit. You are in pursuit of her.
Okay.
How far away are they, DM?
30 feet. So, Garindan, who's second place now?
I made. Sorry. Let me see here. So I moved Hay to last.
Okay.
I put Bramble at there. Yeah, and then I moved my 17 to Gagi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Garindan, Bramble, Gagi, and then Felthrin. Okay, so Bramble, you're next.
Did he get a clear sight of Foxglove?
Did you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. So Bramble's gonna use cunning action to sprint. And then if he can, he's going to use his action also to dash and try to head her off, whichever way she seems to be going.
You step right in front of her. She looks at you and stops for a minute, and she blinks her eyes as she recognizes you, and then she says, "Who are you doing? What are you doing here? Who is this? What is going on?
Foxglove, stop! He's
How
controlling
do you know my name?"
It's me, Bramble.
You may make a persuasion check.
23.
Bramble, thank Tiamat you're here. We've got to get Lord Volmer to safety. He is under attack. And she looks over at Garindan and she says to you in Hinfolk, hoping that Garindan will not recognize, "I think someone's trying to assassinate him. He says there's a warrant out for his life. You have to help me."
You'll be safe outside the cave. I'll help you get by him.
Him meaning Garindan.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I said that in common, so Garindan can understand.
Gotcha. Gagi, you are next. Gagi, what you see, the dead cultists at your feet, Garindan and Bramble in pursuit of Foxglove. There are two entrances back towards the tap. As you can see, two entrances back into the cave. Currently, you can see no one, although you hear quite a bit of activity beyond the rock. What would you like to do?
Can you show where they are, left or right side?
You see them here.
Where's
To the
he?
right. To the right.
Okay,
And you're
that's where
here.
they are. Where you circled that red.
Right. They have moved this back area, and Gagi is right here.
I'm going to run after them and run past them, so that way, if anyone's coming, I'm not just going to be standing three people in the cave. I want to go into protection mode for Garindan, so he has commissioned us, and now I just went into protect the leader mode. So I run up, sword in hand, and I pass Garindan, and I say, "Strength and honor."
Leaping through the shadows Your sword glistening in the campfire light, you move past and you see a devil, wiry and skeletal. Lord Volmer standing before you, hacking and coughing. He looks up at you and points a finger and says, "You took my men." Do you have any actions?
Yes. My first thing is I'm going to attack with the short sword and stab him right in the heart if I can.
You may try.
18 plus 9 to hit 27.
Indeed, you strike true right through his rib cage.
And that is 5 plus 5, 10 points. I take another strike at him. That one is 14 plus 9, 23.
You still hit.
That is 8 plus 5, 13. And I do flurry of blows.
We got our monk back.
15 plus 9, 23. And
Hits.
7 plus 5, 12 points. And then the other stunning strike is 15 plus 9, 24. And 10 points of damage.
Ooh, that's some pretty good rolling.
That is 45 points of damage. You see as this wild Talenta halfling just shred this fiend without regard to anything around it. The smell of brimstone and sulfur begin erupting. The devilish ichor begins spilling all around, but God, you pay no mind, no attention. You are currently locked in, protecting this party. You hear the cries of the henfolk begin to rise up, and next in the realm, it is Felthrin. As a dire wolf, you are taking hold of the backway pack. You see that there is quite a bit of activity going on. I would like to know how you are pursuing. What is interesting to you at this moment?
Felthrin's going to just follow everybody else. He's going to run straight in. He has enough movement to get to Volmer if he can.
Indeed, you can. The wolf goes charging through the desert cave.
And he's going to jump at him and try to bite him and knock him over.
You have pack tactics since a wild barbarian halfling is next to you.
Perfect.
That's advantage.
That's going to be a 24 to hit.
The wolf snaps down on his leg.
For 12 points of damage.
Indeed.
And I need a DC 13 strength.
He has a 12.
He's going to be prone.
You buckle him to the ground and he falls forward, this time on his face, back up.
And he's going to snarl.
Gagi, you've worked with beasts before. This druidic dwarf is now formed into a dire wolf and is wresting him to the ground. The next attack against Lord Volmer, assuming he does not get up, has advantage. The wolf howls. The cultists begin to assemble. You can see them all gathering around, ready to throw themselves in sacrifice to their liege, including the wild-eyed young foxglove Heartwood. Bramble, hey, limestone in your hand. What were you choosing to do?
I'm holding on to that for the moment.
Okay.
I'm going to shift. Oops, if I can get the right thing.
The palm. Yeah, use the hand.
To here, so I have line of sight to Lord Volmer.
Indeed you do. He is currently on the ground, though, but his bald head is glistening in the campfire.
Do I get advantage on a ranged attack against him? Because he's prone?
It would actually be a straight roll because you wouldn't have disadvantage.
Okay. Then I will cast crystals form around my hands, and I shoot forward as my eyes glaze over. 26 total.
Nice.
That is great first round.
Yep. It's going to be 3d8 damage.
Okay.
12 points of frost or of cold damage, and his speed is reduced by 10 feet until the start of my next turn.
I love that flavoring. Oh my gosh. The frost begins to crystallize around him. Felthrin, you see the ice crystals from the Feywild begin to assemble, locking him in place, holding him down. You turn back to see as you snarl your old friend Hay with his eyes glazed over black. Top of the round. A devil guard approaches you, Hay. An Abishai, guardian of Tiamat, a dragon with long hair and a spear, runs up to you, yelling in Infernal, and begins to stab you. It's going to make 2 attacks against you.
I'm going to cast Warding Flare because he's not 30 feet away from me. And
Warding, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
One of them, a spear, is a natural 1. This Abishai, hearing Garindan, the infernal Garindan, begin to cry out in Infernal, almost guarding him using Zariel's power. And the second one was an 18, which is the one you get to block. So natural 1 and 18, warding flare. This bright light from Avernus flashes up next to you, Hay, and the Abishai is blinded momentarily as it stabs in the darkness, missing you completely.
Sweet.
Amazing. Great job, guys. Yeah, go ahead.
Cast my black glare over at Garindan and smile. Thanks.
He doesn't look so innocent now. And the Lord Volmer begins to use his poison mind, even on the ground, lying there like a snake. He is dangerous. He looks up, and his eyes roll to the back of his bald head, even though he's prone face down on the ground. And he looks at Felthrin, and he looks at Gagi, and says, "Think of your darkest thoughts." And I ask you to make a wisdom saving throw, both of you.
All right.
12.
Fail.
$17.
That's a fail.
Oh,
You both take 26 necrotic damage, and you become blinded until the end of your next turn. And I would like to, if you would, he asks you to reveal your shame, your greatest shame, your greatest anger, or your greatest fear. And it begins to spill out. For our eyes only. What do we see flash in your mind, Felthrin?
you see Felthran in a petty argument with one of his clan members and walking off into the wilderness, kind of throwing a little temper tantrum. And then it's kind of, big, like 30,000 foot view kind of the scene. And as Felthran is out in the woods throwing a temper tantrum, that is when Grovelor got attacked, and he was not there to help.
And Lord Volmer just licks his lips and says, "I relish that thought." Gagi, as you are blinded, we see a flash. For our eyes only. Your greatest shame, your greatest anger, or your greatest fear.
Question, is it our action, or is it still the action of Lord Volmer?
It's Volmer's action.
So he is reminded when he was a child, and his father was fighting, and he saw him go down, and he was not strong enough to help him. And he was always afraid that he was never good enough to help his father.
He licks his lip again, and again his eyeball swivels to the back of his head and says, "And you are still not strong enough." He delivers his Taskmaster whip at both of you. He stands up. That's going to be a 22 to Gagi. And that's going to be a 17 to Felthrin.
It's 17 to a direwolf. That's good.
Okay. He pulls out this whip from his back of his hand, and he slashes it against your throat and pulls tightly. You each take 10 slashing damage and 33 force damage. Blinded, you feel this pain.
Felthran is back in dwarven form.
He says, "That makes sense. A dwarf will always lose." You feel this pain. The cultists that begin to assemble. You can see Foxglove pulling away against Bramble, trying her best to save Lord Volmer. It is the top of the round, Garindan.
So Volmer took 17 points of damage because of his turn on the
Nice.
forbiddance. Yeah.
And you said that applies to every fiend, correct?
Every fiend, yeah.
There is a fiend next to Hay that you just warded flared. So it goes dashing into ashes and disappears. Hay, you did not even see that fiend. It just, as it entered into this holy sanctuary by this guardian, this dwarven cleric, the fiend disappears. Lord Volmer indeed takes 17 points of radiant damage, is it? So as you see this radiant damage begin to crisp up around him, the ice from the Feywild melts. He stands up and his skin begins sizzling, and that 17 turns into 34 points of damage. He laughs and says, "Garindan, come back to me. I'll make it worth it." Your turn.
Volmer, I'm not as much a fool of you as to know when to go against my superior. She has told me that you are mine, and I am here to claim that. And with it, he'll cast Guiding Bolt to the 3rd level, which is radiant damage 4d6, 1d6 for every slot above first, and advantage on the next attack as well. So what do I need to roll to hit him?
Yeah, you tell me how you roll, and I'll tell you if you hit him.
Okay. But yeah, sorry, do I roll a d20 to see if it's a hit, or what? Sorry, I'm
Yep,
still...
absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, d20 plus your spell attack, which is your wisdom. Plus
Oh,
proficiency.
it was a natural 1, and I got so plus my wisdom is, I got 6 plus 7, that's 13.
All right, Garindan, take the wheel. Why did he miss?
I'll
tell you why I got it.
Okay.
As you begin to cast this spell, you charge up your batteries. You're about to release the radiant damage, and Foxglove stands in between you and Volmer. And you absorb the impact as you fail to release it, do you not? However, I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw to see if you can keep the blast from hitting her.
Okay, cool. 19.
A 19, you were able to graze the radiant lightning off into the cave. It kills a bunch of cultists, just slaughtering their bodies as they land on the ground. However, you see that Foxglove is standing there. She's got a simple scimitar drawn, and she says, "No, you're the assassin. You will not take my liege. I'm sworn to protect him." Lord Volmer says, "Ha ha, you see, Garindan, not all my pupils abandon me so easily for other gods." Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, it is.
Bramble, your turn. Garindan, Gagi, you're on deck.
So seeing Foxglove just about ended there, he makes eye contact briefly with Garindan, expressing gratitude for not killing her. His sole focus is on getting her to safety, so he's gonna essentially try to grapple her and drag her beyond, like behind Garindan, out toward the mouth of the cave.
With an action and a bonus action easily enough, you reach around her and wrest her to the side. Though she struggles and kicks, you're stronger. You pull her away. She has a brief interchange and says, Bramble, what are you doing? No, they're the enemy. The assassins are the enemy. Tiamat is good.
I need to keep you safe, first and foremost.
My life is forfeit.
No, your life is more valuable than this.
You pull off to the side. I'll give you two options. So you can either move through the secret entrance or you can move towards hay.
Towards hay.
Okay. Foxglove and Bramble retreat to safety, back behind the fighting line. Goggy, you are blinded. Darkness, pain erupts all around you, but you can still smell that rotten fiend right in front of you. How do you proceed?
Am I still frightened?
No, you are not frightened. The vision quickly fades.
I remember the teaching that my sensei had taught me when we were fighting as monks blindfolded. And I channel my ki and use only my smell and my ears to deliver a stunning strike on Lord Velma.
It'll be with disadvantage, but go ahead.
Personal was 16 plus 9, 25. And that is 21.
Right on the money. I love it. You strike hard on him. You can smell his body from here. He does a con save for stunning strike.
17 must be.
And he gets a whopping 5.
And that's 9 points of damage.
He takes it.
So he is stunned.
And you see, right as he is about to deliver a message to Garindan, this halfling, just blinded, his eyes gashed over with ash, just delivers a punch right to the nose. And the lights go out for a brief second. If he is stunned, the next attack on him has advantage and is critical. Correct? Rhett, help me out.
Yes.
I think so.
I
Hold
don't know.
on. Stop.
Oh, with guiding bolt, yeah. The next attack against him is a crit.
Sorry, not the advantage. Stunned.
Stunning strike.
Oh, stunning strike. No, I don't know enough.
I believe it is critical.
Not right hand.
His movement is down to
No,
0.
it's just advantage.
Okay.
And he cannot take actions or reactions his next turn.
So I have 3 more strikes. I want to take the blade and see if I can stab him. How far away is he? I felt him, right?
Yeah, you hit him with 1 attack. You're doing extra attack right now.
Yes.
And I think stunning strike is a bonus action.
Special. It's not a bonus action. It can
Okay.
go with the attack.
You can do the flurry of blows then. Yeah, so that's
No, actually, I have 1 more action, and then I can do flurry of blows. I have 3 more attacks.
you only get 1 action. So what's your action? How many
I get
attacks
2
do you get?
attacks. I get 2 attacks plus flurry of blows. That's four attacks in one round.
Correct.
So I'm going to do 1 more attack. Then with that attack, a special, which is flurry of blows, which allows me 2 more unarmed attacks.
Yeah, so 3 attacks left.
Yes.
Okay, go for it. They have advantage.
um,
Well, actually, they have straight roll because you're still blinded.
okay. So question, do I know where he lands just from my training about the distance he is from me?
He's right in front of you, 5 feet.
But I thought he was stunned. So is he standing up stunned or is he on the ground?
Yes, he's standing up because he stood up last session or last turn.
Then I want to take my short sword and see if I can plunge it right in his throat.
Go for it.
13 plus 9 is 22.
Hit.
And 8 points of damage and a flurry of blows.
Go for it.
19 plus 9 is 28.
Hits.
And 9 points of damage. And the second flurry of blows, 12 plus 9, 21 with 13 points of damage.
Right on the money. Again, you just slash blind this Blackfoot halfling, just pushing back and forth, cutting him up. He begins to laugh. And he hollers and says, "What? Even if you take me down, my spirit will be resummoned in Avernus and hunt you down." And then we go to Felthrin.
All right, Felthrin is going to take a couple swipes at him, also with disadvantage, right?
You are blinded, but he is stunned, so straight roll.
Straight roll.
Wasn't the direwolf blinded? Did that transfer to his dwarven form?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
No, 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 no.
I'm going to say no. Yeah, I
Okay.
think Felthrin's blinded. Yeah.
Felthrin is blinded.
Straight roll, yeah.
Straight roll. Okay.
That's not what I was going for.
Oh, geez. That's going to be a 16 and a 17.
They both miss.
All right. He's going to action surge and try again.
Go for it.
There we go. How about a 24 and a 26?
Both. The Warhammer slams down on his foot.
All right. It's going to be... first one is 8 points of bludgeoning, 3 points of fire. The second one is 13 points of bludgeoning and 5 points of fire.
Nice.
And he is also going to goad him for an extra 7 points of damage. And now he's going to yell, "Come on, you fiend! Fight like a man!"
And I was looking for that goad, and you delivered strong and soundly, Felthrin. He winces at that and pulls back and says, "That hurt." And he spits in your direction. However, it is now hay, bottom of the round. Fiend, ash, cast at your feet and blows in the wind. How do you respond?
Don't even break eye contact. I'm looking into the cave. From what I can see, does it appear that Lord Volmer is made of flesh?
Yes.
All right. So reaching into his pouch, he was busy preparing his mind for this moment. He's reached into his pouch and he pulls out 3 little piles in his hand. Well, 2 little piles. It's a pile of earth, a pile of the lime that he scraped off, and he takes some water and he just drops all 3 onto the ground. And very briefly, almost like a mirage, the earth appears to erupt into a mountain and then divide into a 6-foot rectangle dug into it to represent a grave. And then a body just falls backward into the grave, and then the whole thing collapses back into the ground. And then he just pushes, and that whole image just goes surging through the cave in the direction of Lord Volmer. He needs to roll a Constitution saving throw.
He scored a 15.
That is 1 shy of what he needed. He is going to start turning into stone.
Okay.
I'm casting flesh to stone.
Ooh.
If the creature, on a failed save, it is restrained as its flesh begins to harden. He has to make another Constitution saving throw at the end of each of his turns. If he fails to save 3 times, he will be turned to stone and subjected to the petrified condition for the duration. So he is starting to harden, and I'll say from his toes. It's like the stone itself is like fusing with his feet, and he's jerking, trying to move.
Right as Felthrin releases his warhammer up from Lord Volmer's foot, you see the toe begin to turn into stone.
May the earth take you. And I just start walking forward into the cave.
Nice. Okay, so he just keeps making the con save until he turns into...
Yeah, if he fails 3 times, he is
okay.
petrified. I doubt he will.
Okay, and he's restrained though, right?
Yes, he is restrained.
Okay, gotcha.
And he's stunned for this round too.
His stun should end by now.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, because of the hit.
Technically, he would still be stunned when Garindan still goes,
Yeah,
because
Garin-
one full round, so you would have one hit on him, Garindan.
Yes. Yeah, so restrained is pretty harsh. Attack rolls have advantage, and he has disadvantage. As he attempts to swing back and forth, he can't quite get to it. So Garindan, actually, it's Lord Volmer's turn, though, at the bottom of the round. So Lord Volmer is now no longer stunned, though he is restrained. The rock begins to crumble off to his side, pulling back and forth, and you hear him crack for a moment, and he says, Garindan, actually, he says this in Infernal for those of you who speak it. He says, Asmodeus is not paying me enough to dethrone her. And he begins to crack a little bit as you gain insight into something he possesses. Tiamat rising. It's the devil's plan. And Zariel is left out of the loop in hopes that Tiamat will replace her. He has disadvantage, so he's going to try his poison mind again. He's going to do it on Felthrin. He's going to do it on Gagi. If you would make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Now, if he has disadvantage against anybody but me, doesn't matter.
These are saves.
Wisdom saving throw. Got it.
Is this a spell or just an innate ability?
It's innate.
That's an 18 for me.
Okay.
19.
The 19 is a success. The 18 is a fail. Felthrin, you take. I'm actually going to roll here. We go 4. Oof. 32 necrotic damage. And you are blinded again.
Yeah.
Gagi, you only take 16 necrotic damage, but you are not blinded.
Merely a flesh wound.
He reaches with his Taskmaster whip. Garindan, this time he's going to lash it out against you.
Wait, now, Jonathan, I don't know that I was ever not blinded. Can I be extra blinded? Okay.
No,
What about double blinded?
So I'm still blind.
Yeah, still blind.
Okay.
He looks at you, Garindan. He begins to raise his whip and says, I've got something special for you. And he makes 2 attacks against Felthrin and Gagi.
And Dan will raise both of his hands and cast the warding flare on both of them.
So be a disadvantage against Gagi too.
Yes. Okay, so Felthrin, he misses completely. You're in your blind dwarven form. You stumble across the side, and the whip just cracks right over your head. Warding flare.
Yeah.
Gets disadvantage, or it's a. What happens with warding flare?
It just let me see. I thought it just blocked it. Let me see. Sorry, should be ready.
I think it gives disadvantage. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It's a 25 to hit Gagi, so.
25 hits.
Let's see. Sorry.
25 with disadvantage? Wow.
Yes. Yeah, that was a good roll.
Yeah, it was.
Use your reaction to impose disadvantage on attack roll. Yeah.
Already had disadvantage, so.
Okay.
Gagi, you do get taken the hit, and this flare comes up, and it protected Felthrin, we'll say. Didn't get to you in time. With a Taskmaster whip, he delivers another 10 points of slashing damage and 33 force damage.
So, question on this attack, is it a missile?
It is not, no, because it,
Okay.
Yeah. You want to try and catch it? I'll let you try and catch it. Yeah, go ahead. It's going to be high risk, high reward. You know how high risk, high reward. I am warning you.
19 plus 9.
Okay, you catch it.
right. And I get an attack off of that?
I think you just get to reduce the damage. It's D10 plus your monk level.
D10, so level 12, 22.
You reduce by 22 damage.
Oh, okay.
However, I do need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Roger, Dodger. Constitutional saving throw. That is an 18.
I needed a
Dice
19.
rolls are insane.
You needed a 19.
I got good. Okay.
Not sure what happens, but it's really bad. Okay, top of the round, it's Garindan's turn. So Gagi, when you grab that whip, you reduce the damage and you keep it from going inside you, but you begin to feel it crawling inside your skin as it rests. The whip begins to crawl like a snake into your skin, boring a hole through your hand. Tell me how this feels like.
Don't forget to do your saving throw. Don't forget to do your Constitution saving throw.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I have the lucky. I have the lucky. I can re-roll that again.
Only if it's a 1. As a
Okay.
halfling? Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
How does it feel? It feels very painful. Like I got fire in my hands and it's going down my pants.
The con save is a 13. Okay. He begins to start slowly bringing up a stone, but he pulls it in and says, I will take one of you in. All right. Now it's Garindan's turn. Round 3.
How is Lowell?
Go ahead.
I was just wondering how he's faring. What's he look like? Is he?
So I had a question. Your holy spell, does it continually do damage or just that
No,
one
it
time?
doesn't. It's a one-time deal.
All right, I will say round 2, you collectively did 74 points of damage. Round 1, 74 points of damage. Round 3, I believe just between Felthrin and Gagi, you did 75 points of damage. So he's looking pretty hurt. But he seems very confident. You can tell he doesn't know about your little arrangement.
Okay.
You hear a voice inside your head, Garindan. A small imp appears on your shoulder and says, "Do it, Garindan. Finish the job for the Archduchess of Avernus. Do it." You see the stone beginning to creep around his knees. You see a small Blackfoot halfling ensnared in his vile infernal whip, which he has enslaved so many souls and people. You see his throat wide open, and you stand before him with infernal authority from Zariel.
He's gonna power up again, and he's just gonna yell out in the cave, "He is mine! I am the one who must defeat him, no one else! Back away!" And he's gonna try again with a big guiding bolt at the highest level he can cast. So let's throw that and see what happens.
He is restrained, so you have advantage.
Okay, thank you.
He's kind of held still in place as Hay just stands there with stone on his fingertips, holding him down. Gagi wrestling back and forth with the whip.
I got a 25 and a 14, so I'll do the 25.
25 works.
And it's so 3rd level. So it's 66. Oh, 6.
While you're counting that up,
Yeah.
Bramble, you hear Foxglove begin to reach. No! No! She begins to pull as hard as she can. I would ask you to make a athletics check.
13.
She rolled a 10. She struggles in your arms to rescue Lord Volmer, but she is not able to save him. She is not able to place her body sacrificially in front of her liege, and she begins to weep. Garindan, the bolt does not miss this time, and there is no cultist before you. Only a foul fiend, your master, who taught you, your teacher, who enslaved you, Lord Volmer.
Okay. So as he's getting ready, he's this last time you got me. My friends were weak. This time, as you can see, I brought my A game. And he's gonna hit for 27 points of radiant damage.
I'm not lying. You defeated him by 1 point.
Nice.
Garindan.
Does he break off at the knees?
Yeah. The radiant bolt hits him. He coughs. And he releases the whip. Gagi, the whip falls at your feet, though it is still somehow ensnared inside your flesh. Felthrin, you hear Garindan's voice, though it is all darkness around you. Bramble, as you hold Foxglove in your arms, her tears staining your shirt. Hay, hanging on with your life, giving Garindan a clear shot. Garindan, the bolt hits inside. He coughs and says, in a simple voice, Garindan, it's me. These friends will abandon you. I won't. I promise.
These friends have had every chance to abandon me. You abandoned your oath. You abandoned your honor, as if a devil could have honor.
How do you know about that?
She has sent me, and it is done.
He reaches for you and says, you cur! And poosh! The room fills with ash and smoke. It litters. Felthrin and Gagi, you instinctively hold up your hands before your eyes as the whole place blasts with this devilish brimstone of fire. And there's ash and stone with 2 legs standing up in the cavern. And Garindan, Greybeard, standing before you shirtless, where once there was a contract etched in infernal script binding him to Lord Volmer. It begins to fade away as his flesh peels back. And instead of a contract, there is a single infernal brand that reads Captain of the Guard of Avernus. Now I ask you, Felthrin, as your sight returns to you, to what do we see you paying attention to?
How quickly did his sight return to him?
You see this standing before you, just the ash, the 2 legs of stone. Garindan, you see Gagi with this whip beginning to now rot and disintegrate within his arm.
I would imagine that his hammer, as his sight comes back, his hammer just swings right through where Volmer's head would have been.
Yes.
And he's still just yelling. He's like, oh, where'd he go? Oh, whoa. What? Are any of the cultists still there and looking aggressive?
No.
Okay.
No. Most of them are dead as they were caught in the crossfire between Gagi's slashes and Hay's magic. Most of them lie on the ground dead, if not completely wounded or torn asunder.
Well, Felthran's looking for somebody to smack if there's anybody aggressive. Otherwise, he's just going to...
One vile cultist with a dragon mask reaches to stab your foot, and he cries out, Tiamat is God!
No. He's just going to smack him.
And he splatters on the ground. Hey, as your hands begin to release the magic, you see what lays before you, and to what do your eyes wander as they clear the black glaze from your pupils?
He lowers his hands and looks at the dirty remnants of the spell on his fingertips, and then looks over at the wreckage of humanity that lies across the floor. And he just begins to cry quietly.
A young man lies there with his mask cracked to the side, lying in a pile of devil ash. There's a hollow look in his eyes, his crystal green eyes. The life has gone from his face and his arm extended out towards you.
No. I get down on my knee, like slide on my knees, and I take his arm and I fold it gently over his chest and pull his other arm up and try and arrange him neatly on the ground.
His body cold and limp in your hands, nevertheless, appears more respectful than dying in a blast. Gagi, the whip, begins to writhe and slowly disintegrate into ash, and yet you feel something in your right hand, a gnawing sensation. It itches, it stings, it feels like something is trying to get inside your mind, and yet your sight is there. You see before you the two broken stone legs, the pile of devil ash, and Garindan lying with his white bald head blasted with devil ichor. To what do you pay attention to during this time?
Gagi runs up and he grabs the two legs and he bashes them together. He's like, damn it, Garindan. Always taking all the action. Just couldn't just give a brother just a little bit of a chance. Bloody hell, now I've got it. Look at the ashes. And my hand stings a little.
Garindan, when you see Gagi's hand, you see that it's attempting to retch some kind of infernal calling to Gagi. This was the same charm that Volmer put upon you, and it seems to have made, at least for now, a lingering mark on this young henfolk. Garindan, to what do you pay attention to?
So as Garindan's task is done, he deflates, totally weak, and just goes limp. And he's reduced to tears. He's just, that's one is done. And I promise you, Gagi, if you stick with us, there will be more fights to come. He was mine. One is done. One more to come.
My brother, I would have fought with you to the bitter end till there was no life left in me. I just want a little bit of the action. Well done.
Hey, not you, hey, but hey, Gagi. You should take a look at that hand. I don't trust it.
It's starting to mess with my psyche, if I'm honest.
Can I dispel magic? Is it a magic that can be dispelled?
If you would like to try.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Go for it. You're going to make a spell attack against his hand.
It's 21.
Yeah, that'll do it. So, one brother in arms, between the shell shock and the mortars and the smell of ash and brimstone, here in this cave, you hold the young henfolk's hand, and how do you clear his body of this infernal sickness?
Yeah, Gagi, lay out your hand.
All right.
Not like that, and he'll touch his captain of the guard brand and kind of just pull it out and send it up in a puff of smoke.
Ah!
It hisses and burns, and it shrieks of 1,000 souls being tormented. Nevertheless, your flesh returns to its state. and is before you as was before.
It barely hurt. It barely hurt, Garindan. That scream was not a scream of like a girl. It was more like a man who was excited. You saw it. There it was.
I've been there.
Bramble, she weeps in your arms. She's hung down, quiet and calm. You pick her up and she looks at you. Bramble? What happened?
You're okay now. You've been under a spell. I think you need rest. I think you need calm. And he sort of pulls her back down onto the ground, not like forcefully, but sort of invites her to lay down and rest, and begins to sing a lullaby of the meadows of wildflowers and strong, sturdy oaks and a warm meal, and finally of a mother's love. The sort of the 4 verses of that.
I can't picture it. Could you sing it for us, please?
Well, yeah, no, I was about to make you roll, but man, that was amazing. Gagi, even in the strong Western accent, you can pick up the sounds of the plains and the meadows and the forests that your father and your grandmother and they told you fairy tales of that you've never seen before. The hearth and the home. She begins to cry.
He's just got away with words. Say, look at him. He's just making everyone cry. That's why he's going after my sister.
She looks and says, they were the ones. He was the one who attacked. They were the ones who attacked us. Bramble, you don't understand. First of all, where were you? We waited in Red Larch for you.
I was trying to protect others. I was trying to stop the Black Dragon, and ultimately trying to stop the rise of Tiamat. That's why I'm here.
The one that took our home.
It started with that.
See, that's what you don't understand. They made it Lord Volmer made it so clear to me. Marduk, Resmir, the Black Dragon, they took what is everyone's. Tiamat is going to bring order. Where there's poverty and where there's imbalance, she's going to take everything. We were the nobles, Bramble. We were the wrong ones. Tiamat has come to take away serfdom and fiefdom and servanthood and reduce nobilities to the common people, where everyone will have our part in her bounty. I've been told this. This is true.
Would that it were. She will not bring about these things, at least not in the way that you might hope. She is not a dragon. She is a great deceiver.
She's a dragon, Bramble. See that? They've shown me everything. I've seen it. The paradise she's going to bring, starting with the well.
She has deceived many. And it's no fault of yours, but you're wrong.
She pushes you. The rest of you see and hear this encounter. Bramble, you're on the wrong side. It's been what, 6 months, 9 months since we've seen each other. You have no idea what Volmer is able to accomplish. You have no idea what Walid Modar, he taught me everything. He showed me the way. Tiamat is coming and we can't stop it because this world rightfully belongs to Tiamat. She will clean us of all the evil gods.
Walid Modar cast a spell on you. Lord Volmer was leading you to your death.
I don't know what to say. As you're all sitting around with Bramble, experiencing this heated interchange with his sister. You can tell they favor each other very strongly. Felthrin, Hay, Garindan, and Gagi, the room is silent, awaiting your response.
Well, now that's all done, and now we feel all up in our feels and sensitive and soft. How about a great meal? I'm getting a bit hungry.
I can always eat. Ha ha ha. You have any ale?
Stale jerky.
That's not ale.
Hey, that was pretty good. What you did back there was pretty good, hey?
Thanks. I wish I could remember what I did.
Well, it was almost like when I did that destructive movement where I broke the stone legs. You had a part in that, and, remember?
Okay.
We were fighting that guy, and then I couldn't see, and when I could see, all he was stone legs. That was crazy.
Wow. I see them there. I don't know what I did.
Foxglove walks over to the pile of ash next to the two broken legs and stands there staring in the ground.
Bramble walks up behind her and says, "He turned to ash because he was from the hells."
Lassie, let me say something to you now. Sometimes it's better to have wounds from a friend than kisses from an enemy. And this demon here was giving you all kinds of kisses, fooling with your mind and stuff. And we're telling you the truth. That's the past. It's ashes. Good things rise from the ashes. It's a phoenix. That's what you are.
The greater good is still alive, young lady. We are going to find it. We are going to release it. We are going to free this world so that the greater good can be pursued.
Yes, Tiamat will not rise while we are still fighting for the greater good.
She continues to look down, taking note of your words. You're seeing a couple things around this cave. Besides the cultists, the ash, the stone, Foxglove staring off into space with Bramble nearby. You have a moment to gather your things and assess your surroundings. Garindan.
Did anyone see where I put my shirt?
Oh, here it is.
Oh, thank you. It's getting a little cold. Hey, that was pretty good. I know. I heard the conversation, but that was a fight, and I'm glad you came back.
Me
Don't know
too.
why.
I don't want to let my friends do this on their own. I fixed your shirt too. It had some holes in it.
Oh, thank
Your
you.
mending indeed works. Felthrin, your sight has returned.
There's no more sleeve holes. It's just you put your arm in it. It's short sheeted.
Felthrin, you're walking around, and what do we find you busy doing?
I think Felthrin is looking around, first of all, to see if there's anybody like Foxglove that has woken up from their dream and needs a little help, needs a little healing, can be restored. I think that's probably what Felthrin's focusing on, is just looking for somebody to help, or anything that could help them in their ultimate goal of stopping Tiamat. So if there's any materials in the cave that he would deem beneficial to the process.
There is one young man. He is badly injured, but you can see him just holding his head, and he says, "All right then, I've got a splitting headache. Hold there, Master Dwarf. Where in the hells am I?"
You've been deceived, my friend. Let me help you with that headache. And he'll cast Cure Wounds on him.
Oh, that feels really good, like a full belly, but that's the last thing you want to hear when you wake up from a coma. I have been deceived. That's great. Well, are you the good guy or the bad guy?
If I was the bad guy, you'd be in trouble. I'm the good guy.
I see that flaming warhammer you got strapped to your back. And you can tell his accent is from Parnast, the town that you just originated from. Yeah, woo, I feel like
Dancing?
no. I
Alright.
was going to say there's something bad about to happen. Ah, the five-headed dragon is going to arise. You're here to stop it, aren't you?
We are going to stop it.
Oh, I gotta get back in town and tell my old man I'm sorry for everything. He told me this was gonna be bad. He and yeah, he told me not to go off with that crowd, and here I am. What have I done with myself? Oh, I'm in for a good ear chewing.
Oh, don't hurt yourself up too much. You know, you were deceived. There was some strong magic used against you, but now you can go home and apologize to your old man and remember to pursue the greater good.
I don't know about the greater good, but my old man, he can't run the wagon shop by himself, so he needs me and all the help he can get. Oh boy, oh, my leg hurts. And he collapses back to the ground, grateful for your healing, nevertheless taking a rest. Gagi, there's a little bit of time you have to collect your things and your surroundings.
I'll take the time to light up, smoke this little toke, and then look around for any kind of treasures and stuff like that, and see what I might find as a little clever halfling.
Interesting. Specifically, you're looking for something besides what would be in a desert yeti's cave?
Oh yeah, something shiny, something that stands out, that catches the halfling's eye, like, oh, I'd like to play with that.
I'll let you roll an investigation check.
All right. So my 13 plus my modifier on the investigation, I may not have one. 13 plus 1, a whopping 14.
You catch something shiny.
Ooh,
You reach for it and it bites you. A little silver snake scurries through the cave, grateful to live another day. Nevertheless, you're immune to this poison. You take your 44 plus 4 cigar from Serena from the Dusk Circle.
Something bit me. I do have a question, Southron. How is it that you're a dire wolf that's blind? That's a story in itself, isn't it?
There was some pretty crazy magic going on there, but did you see me smash his head when I was blind? That was pretty cool. I could feel him crushing under my hammer.
I was actually blind at the same time as you were, so I didn't really quite see that. And then when you were still blind, I was also smashing, but you wouldn't have been able to see that as well.
Oh, but I heard your little slaps. They sounded pretty good.
You know, my slaps are not as soft as Bramble's hands, okay? Let's get that.
Nothing's as soft as Bramble's hands.
You hear the footsteps of a dwarf, Beltran. You can smell him anywhere and everywhere. Standing in the cave is an old dwarf, bright yellow beard, a cap on, and a fine war pick. Do you know who it is?
Is that Uncle Gundren?
It appears so.
Uncle Gundren! What are you doing here?
And then standing next to him is a tall, bald woman with noble clothes on, infernal tattoos etched into her skin, fiery red eyes, long pointed ears, and a flaming sword. She says, "I'm here for Garindan, captain of my army. Which one of you?" And her eyes lock into yours, Garindan. Your tattoo begins lighting up, and she says, "Time to fulfill your promise and join me in the blood war. Your contract is up."
Oh, I still have to stop Tiamat.
You still have to follow my orders. You killed Lord Vomer fair and square. You acquired a great deal of information for me. As the rest of you are standing in the presence of this Archduchess from Avernus, you are free to have one reaction. We zoom into your faces. How do you respond to this infernal presence?
Feltharin's trying to figure out if Uncle Gundren is there with her.
Uncle Gundren's eyes flash white.
She or he?
"I am neither." And her fiendish devil voice speaks out.
Yes, so.
Bramble.
He'll say, "Don't you know that if Tiamat rises, you will fall?"
Everything is in play, but what I have learned tonight is that my own have betrayed me. My dealings have nothing to do with you and folk. So I will take my captain and go complete my war. This plane will suffer its own consequences for its greed. Hey.
I don't think I like you. I want you to go away.
He puts up...
I cast banishment. No, she does have to succeed on a charisma saving throw, so I'm not very hopeful here.
Yeah, what's the DC?
16.
I mean, 26.
No.
She puts up your hand, and as you magic, like she knocks you to the ground. Flat line, you are held on the ground against the cavern wall, sliding back and forth. And she says, and then she looks to the side and stares at Uncle Gundren, as if she didn't recognize him. And you hear an old voice, and he steps forward, and it is not Gundren, but it is a dwarf. And it's not a war pick of a simple miner that he carries on his back, but a strong battle axe. And he says, "Zoriel, just a minute." Moradin, the Allfather, stands in the presence of the cave of some desert yeti in the desert of Skorna. The rest of you behold the golden splendor of the ancient dwarven god. And he looks at you, Garindan, piercing, glazing, bright eyes. He looks at you, and you respond.
Oh, Father. I have wronged you. But I want to come home.
You've only wronged yourself. He looks at Zariel, looks at your infernal contract, your tattoo, and he says, "He's coming home with me." You cannot believe the contract is written in his own blood, you fool. He's my captain now, and I've got a war to fight. This war is keeping the very demons of the abyss from spawning into your precious home. So you're welcome if I don't take myself a captain as worthy as Garindan. And believe me, after what I've seen he can do, he's a worthy captain. And I'm proud to have him. He looks at the contract. Broken contracts shatter the universe. Moradin looks at you and says, Garindan, I remember fashioning you out of the earth, bringing forth your hardness to the anvil and crafting you. You were my creation. I remember the day you pledged your loyalty to me as a young dwarf, swearing allegiance and fealty in a world that you weren't ready for. You were my servant. But now I extend to you a hand and ask you to be my son. And he turns to Zariel and says, my battle axe for his soul. The battle axe of Moradin, forged before the dawn of time, given to him by the elder good to rule and strengthen the world of dwarves. Zariel's eyes flash. What's the catch? That I get my son back. Without hesitation, she walks to you, this fiend, this archduchess, betrayed by so many, on a mission, takes the contract from your skin and rips it, and holds out a single finger where she has pricked a drop of blood and says, I believe this belongs to you. The blood coalesces into your skin and the tattoo falls off. And where there once was an infernal scar, the brand of the Allfather appears on your chest. Zariel grasps the battle axe and smiles and says, well, like I said, I've got a hell of a war to fight, and this will help me do it. She puts it over her shoulder and disappears into the darkness of the shadow. The old dwarf, Gundren, the Allfather, however he may appear to you right now, simply puts out his hand and gives you a strong embrace, Garindan.
Oh.
Hey.
Garindan's just weeping into this. He can't believe it. He's it's over. It's freedom. It's everything he's lost, gained back, and more, because he's restored to his Allfather, and he's been redeemed for a high price, and he knows what that all means, and he's speechless.
He hears your voice and your thoughts, and the rest of you hear the old dwarf say, I can always make another battle axe, but I can't make another one of you. And he disappears from your sight.
Thank you, Moradin. On the way out.
You feel a surge of energy rush, and he takes a look back at you, Felthrin. He grabs you by the neck, bonks your head, tugs at your hard beard, and lifts his beard up to you.
Oh yeah, I'll grab it.
Grab it and you'll bash heads together, and there's a loud peal of thunder and lightning that echoes, and Moradin disappears from your sight. And out of the ash, you turn around and you hear a soft voice of a young henfolk woman sing. Over the meadows, under the hills, Mother is baking. She's calling us home. Father's out working. The sun is setting west. I hope for the home. And she looks at you, Bramble, with tears in her eyes and a knowing look. The best. And so for tonight, our story concludes.
Nice. Nice.
Tell you what, guys. Once or twice, goosebumps. No kidding. Garindan. Woo!
That was a rad session.
You have no idea how many times at night I was like,